Oh, it has an internal
That was
one?
not
Oh,
a
okay.
good clap. I hurt my
We
fingers.
clapped like 10 times for Neffy.
That was terrible.
That was me. That's mean. He's gonna look at the waveform and it's gonna be a bunch of spikes. Like,
He did it once too, though. Like he clapped, and then he clapped again, and then I clapped again, and I clapped one more time, and he's like, "Oh."
we would do that with the Wildcast a lot.
All aboard!
Hey! Huh? Oops! What? Wow! Yeah!
Welcome. I'm already tired. Welcome everybody to episode 22 of Where Streams Come True, the show where we suffer through the entire good and bad of Disney Plus. I am your host Collins. Joining me again is Cameron, and new to this show is Logan. What is this? Wildcast?
It is.
Feels like it.
Welcome to the
Wildcast,
Wildcast, everyone.
where we let a spooky pumpkin. Thanks, YouTube. Anyway, this
We're not
week.
gonna get stricken for that, right?
No, we're not.
Okay.
Watch them try.
It's free. It's on YouTube. This week we watched Hocus Pocus, the 1993 movie by director Kenny Ortega. He's the director.
That's questionable.
And he... I don't know how much directing actually happened in this movie. Anyway, conjured up by some unsuspecting pranksters, a tricky trio of 300-year-old witches, I'm assuming. I cut out that one word. Set out to 300-year-old. What? Stay tuned to find out. Set out to cast a spell on the town and reclaim their youth, but first they must get their act together and outwit 3 kids and a talking cat. Oh boy.
I love how the synopsis is all from the witch's point of view, despite the majority of the movie being from the kid's point of view.
Which is a shame because the witches should have been, in my mind, they're the main characters, but in the movie they're not really.
I guess, but like, how many movies in the '90s DC ran from the evil point of view, the antagonist point of view?
That's true.
lot
Although
of-
there is a lot of witches in this, as opposed to most
Yeah.
villains, which
Yeah.
are just kind of
What
taking
I
a
would-
backseat.
I should also include that there's not much, like filmmaking innovation here.
Not really, no.
No.
One-
So it makes sense.
I think I guess I'll get this out of the gate. What was crossing my mind about an hour into this movie is that it feels like it's like baby's first horror movie, where like the plot structure is a lot like 90s slashers and supernatural stuff that were coming out. Just taking away all the kills and stuff.
This
Yeah.
makes a lot more sense
like,
with
you
like the
can-
weird, forced, awkward sexuality of the movie.
Oh
yeah.
Ugh.
It's like maybe it was like a full-on horror movie, and then Disney's like, we'll make it, but you got to make it for kids. And I'm like, okay, we'll find a way to make that, because you can see parts of the movie where like, oh yeah, this is where like this person would get killed, or this is where like this would happen, but it just doesn't. And particularly like when it gets to the hour mark, there's a lot of like, this is where that staple of a horror movie scene would take place.
Yeah. So maybe it was a downgraded horror movie.
I think that might be it. And because like, oh, and we got Bette Midler on, so we got to make it a comedy. I don't know if I don't think Bette Midler's known for her comedy. She was mostly in musicals, and this is not a musical. There's only one song. It's not by Bette Midler.
But I was thinking about that as I was watching it. Like the score of it, it feels like a musical. Like in the acting itself,
I mean,
it doesn't
they
have
really
like.
break into a musical number halfway
Oh,
through the
there's-
movie.
yeah.
So,
Never mind, she does sing in this. There's 2 songs.
yeah.
One that Bette Midler sings, and one that Sarah Jessica Parker kind of sings.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, she does it twice. Anyway, we'll get into the full review. Some of these paragraphs are a little long,
We're
but
gonna do the if we've seen this movie before.
oh, is that a thing? Yes,
That's the
initial
thing.
thoughts. Have you seen this movie before? Thank you, Cameron. What was your experience the first viewing and now the second viewing? Second or third or whatever. We'll start with Logan.
Okay, so first time I watched it, I was probably like.
Look at the camera. You're like facing away from the camera.
First
Like,
time I watched.
Cheat out. Look, point your shoulders. There you go.
Act interested.
I am interested. I have strong opinions today. I don't like looking through the mic arm.
Do what I do.
What do you do here?
I don't know.
My
Yeah,
best.
can you see me? Can you see me good? My goodness.
Okay. Now I'm ready. Oh, okay. So the first time I watched it, I was just a kiddo. I think I watched it like just at home, like my parents turned it on, and my parents introduced it as a good Halloween movie, and I really don't think it is. And I think I watched it all the way through, and then like after that, it was all about like watching it in junior high and stuff. It was kind of like, oh, this is on, so we're gonna watch it. Like for, did you guys ever watch movies in advisory periods in junior high? Is it just me?
I don't think I ever had advisory
I
period.
might have
Okay.
watched it once.
So
Well, not it,
we had
but
an
like
we
a
had an
movie, yeah.
advisory period where if you had good grades, if you had all A's and B's, or C's, you could go
Oh.
and do activities instead of like
remember
just
that.
going and doing notes and whatever. So yeah, so the main activity was movies. You either did improv games or movies. So the majority of the people went to movies.
For sure.
Yeah, so we watched a lot of bad movies, and we watched Hocus Pocus like at least once a year. But my experience with it, like the first time around, has always been, I don't know. I was always like forced to watch it, and I'm like, I guess this is a good movie by like '90s terms.
That's a good point.
Yeah, like by '90s, like as
By
far as
90s standards.
like as far as special effects and audio and like cinematography wise, because I was starting to get interested in film by then. I was like, this is good by '90s terms. But now, watching it this time, I'm like, oh man, this movie's just bad. Because you know what? There's been better cinematography. There's been better stuff, special effects, way better special effects, and like I don't know. This screams like, was Disney Channel thing in '90? Was it '93?
This wasn't a DCOM, but it feels like a Disney Channel original movie.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, it feels like a Disney Channel
It
like
gets a
TV
little
release
Halloween
movie.
Town, a
Is it
couple
by the
times.
like Disney
Yeah.
Tunes or whatever?
Disney Tune? No.
And it always
did-
gets grouped together with
Disney
Halloween
cartoons.
Town.
Yeah, but
And
this is better than Halloween.
They're like, oh,
Town.
I love the Disney movies. Halloween Town, Hocus Pocus,
Halloween Town sucks.
Halloween Town 2 and 3.
And 4.
And there's 4?
Yeah, there's
I
Halloween
never
Town,
heard.
Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge, Halloween Town High, and Return to Halloween Town.
Wowza. They even did a remake, kind of, sort of.
I've only seen 1 and 3.
Oh, I have not seen any Halloween Town
I won't spoil it
movies.
for you then.
I haven't even heard of
Just in
Halloween
case
Town,
we
so-
actually do.
Move on. Cameron, your
Yeah.
initial thoughts.
Never seen this movie before. First time. It hurt. It
Oh.
physically hurt to watch this movie.
Mm.
Like,
Really?
I got done and I was like, my chest hurts.
From
This is
laughing so much.
Oh, what a comedic movie. Ha.
It's comedic parts. Is that it? That's
Yeah,
it?
that's
okay,
all I
well,
have
for
to
me,
say.
I've seen this movie several times a year. It's one of my mom's favorite movies.
So wait, several times a year?
Yeah,
I'm going to assume all in one period of time.
around like just over the course of fall.
Like you're not watching it in
So
January.
this is just like a
No.
typical.
But just like yeah, just like
yearly
throw it
entertainment.
on for Halloween. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's definitely got a nostalgia filter for me because I grew up watching this a lot. Looking at it as objectively as I can, there is a lot wrong with it. And it's one of those where there's certain movies that I really like where I'll disagree with someone for not liking, but this one's like you can't piggyback off of someone else's nostalgia. So if you don't like it, that makes perfect sense to me. And maybe
Wait, are you saying that you do like it?
I do like Hocus
Oh.
Pocus. I think it is
Cameron,
not.
I told you, yeah.
it's time to team up and destroy him.
What? Hold on. He's the host.
We're gonna
And no, that's not what this show is about.
Thunderdome.
Yeah, watching it back, there's
I'll go get
I found myself waiting for the witches to get back on screen and do fun stuff. Those are the only scenes that I remember, and the only scenes that like we quote around the house is like the stuff when they're at Satan's house and the road and with the bus.
That part, okay, the same part I actually thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, like when it's just them, just those three actresses playing off each other, the movie's really good. The kids are not good actors. The plot is something.
It's something.
Yeah.
And there's a real dumb decision made by
So
I cannot remember any of the witches' name. Made by Winifred towards the end of the movie that really just caught me off guard.
which
this
one's
time.
Winifred? Is that the one with the black hair?
The green
Red
one.
hair. That's the main one.
Oh, sorry, because they call her
Well
Winnie.
established now. Winifred
Winnie the Pooh.
Winifred is the red hair. Mary is
Winnie the
black
Doom.
hair. Sarah is blonde hair.
Okay.
Okay, so like going by height, we
Oh
got
my
Winifred,
gosh.
Sarah, Mary. I think. Maybe Sarah's the tallest. Anyway,
Wait, was Winnie only taller because of her hair though?
yeah.
That makes sense. Her hair's very tall.
Bette Middler was not that tall of a woman.
Well, she is if the hair is.
Was. I think she's still alive. I'm assuming she's still alive.
I don't know.
Anyway, we begin. Hocus Pocus. This is from just normal IMDb. No user.
Normal IMDb as opposed to
When IMDb actually like
super
writes.
high IMDb.
Yeah, when IMDb actually writes the summary.
Oh yeah.
Instead of a user taking it upon their shoulders to write for really dumb movies. Okay. Hocus Pocus begins in a small town in 1693 where a teenager named Thackeray Binks, a name that you will get tired of hearing in this movie, realizes his little sister Emily has been lured into the woods under the control of a witch. Thackeray urges his friend Elijah to hurry back to the village and alert the elders. He then rushes after Emily and eventually finds the house where Emily has been captured. Inside the house, 3 aging evil witches, the Sanderson sisters, Winifred, Mary, and Sarah, played by Middler, Najimy, and Parker, are brewing a potion in a cauldron. Winifred, the elder sister, highlights that the potion, when drank by a child, has the ability to restore the witch's youth. Before the witches can force the potion into Emily, Thackeray stops them and engages in a brawl with Winnie and is overcome. The sisters then suck the life force from little Emily and their youth is restored somewhat. Then cast a spell on helpless Thackeray that he takes the form of a black cat for eternity to suffer for his failure to save his sister. Immediately after, the angry villagers wielding torches capture the sisters and prepare to hang the trio. Thackeray's father demands that Winifred divulge his son's whereabouts, but she refuses to say. Winifred's spellbook reveals a prophecy that on All Hallows Eve a virgin shall light the black flame candle and resurrect them. The sisters are then hanged, and Thackeray the cat rubs against his father's leg, but the father, not recognizes him, pushes him away. Prologue.
It says,
Discuss.
"Get away, beast."
I see.
Be gone, beast!
I see what you're talking about now with like the whole horror movie trope.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning they literally just kill.
They
the
kill a
little girl.
kid. Yeah.
They kill a kid and then they get hung. Like a dark movie for a Disney, a
Yeah.
dark opening for a Disney movie.
Like, the Sanderson sisters aside, is Emily the only kill in this movie? Thackeray dies at the end, kind of, but that I don't think that really counts. She's-
well, I mean, they also talk about killing a Billy.
Who's Billy?
That's true, but
The zombie guy.
as far as on screen,
Oh,
as far as
that's right.
on screen, Emily is the only on screen killed, and she is
Yeah, on screen. Yeah.
like 7.
Yeah, killing of a
It's the
child
youngest
to
Disney
start a
kill, I think.
Disney movie.
Youngest Disney kill.
No one is
I'm
safe.
scared to try and find a younger one.
I don't
this
know.
this was the
When
the-
Deadpool kills Adolf Hitler in the end of Deadpool 2, as a baby.
That's
owned by Disney now, so
no.
technically,
It's
Yep.
no, all right. Well.
That's it.
youngest Disney kills baby Hitler. My goodness. This is always the part of the movie that I would skip as a kid because I thought it was boring. Being an adult, I still think it's boring.
Oof.
I mean, no, like the sisters are funny.
Oh, you're saying the beginning?
yeah.
we're
is the
talking about
boring
the
part.
beginning now.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like I
think
don't
the beginning
think.
is stronger.
I
than
thought he was gonna lead on
It's
to
got
the
some
next part.
solid humor.
I think the part right after is the most boring part.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I would always skip this as well because it's like whatever, and they're all talking in Old English, kind of Old English.
Oh my gosh. let's
What
talk about
is
Old
that?
English.
Like, what
This
a
is-
weird mesh.
No, this is when someone thinks that they know how to write Old English.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
like,
they're
just
just
add
like,
the
thou
and
and
thou
thee,
and stuff. Like
and that's it. And it's like that's not how Old English works, guys.
it's infinitely worse than that.
You're right.
It's undecipherable. Like either commit
Reading
fully-
Shakespeare is just
Oh,
awful.
it's so bad.
Well, that's because Shakespeare also decides to write in iambic pentameters, which
Yeah,
makes it
that's
even
fair.
more incomprehensible.
yeah,
It's fair.
I think they could have
So.
just. I mean, they needed to signify the time period, but also like nobody's wearing shoes, and he's got like the stupid loose shirt on.
Yeah, he's like a young pirate.
Also,
or some
Thackeray
crap.
Binks is that the name gets
Very.
said so many times in this movie.
They have such like deep British accents.
And when I was a kid, I thought that it was Zachary
Yes.
with a lisp.
Which
but,
is
like,
so
Emily
weird.
had a lisp or something.
Let's talk about that. The accents. Why do they all have American or like English
So
accents?
it makes sense if it was like
They're
a
in
colony, but I
America.
don't think
This is Salem, the Salem witch trials, which should be happening in
1800s.
1800, which is also
Well, this
not
is
300 years ago, by the way.
1693.
1693.
Yeah, 1693.
So I guess that makes more sense if they
But
were
the-
like.
17.
Okay.
So it is 300
So what
years.
does it have
But
to
this
do
is
with
this
the
is
Salem witch
this
trials?
is this is after this is way after the revolution. So they probably
What?
wouldn't have.
You just said 1693.
Oh, this is before the revolution.
It would have to
Yeah,
be
about
1893, or at least 1793.
Yeah. Okay, so it's before that. So it's feasible for them to have British
Like
accents.
wrong century.
Wrong century. I went forward instead of back.
Yeah.
No, I feel like they would have.
So that's
it's,
before.
It's like 100 years before America.
Before America, and probably another 100 years before the Salem witch
So I'd say-
trials.
Yeah.
Is that right?
So
We
they
need to look
obviously
this
got
up.
their history wrong. Either they shouldn't have English accents, or there shouldn't be the Salem witch trials in that
1692
time.
and 1693.
Unless-
witch trials.
What?
Yeah, 1692 and 1693.
Oh, they must have just been colonies. Okay, never mind. Good job, Disney. You did more
You did your
research than we
homework
did.
right at the end of the witch
Good
trials.
job.
Which also, like,
Hmm.
when they're like, "Oh, we're just three little spinsters, not doing anything wrong," yet there's a beacon of like green
Yeah.
flame going out of their house earlier in the movie, and nobody thought that was sus until they actually kidnapped a kid. Like, they are obviously they are
I love-
textbook obvious
I love the word
witches. They have a
sus.
cauldron in their house.
Yeah.
It was so weird. And like it almost like glorified the Salem witch trials too, and that's a little iffy because
Yeah.
the Salem witch trials itself is a very terrible story about
It's so bad.
ignorance.
Well, at least
Yeah.
they didn't burn them like stereotypes.
Right, they just
you
hung
know what
them.
I mean? Because they didn't burn them. They didn't really.
Ah,
burn them
they only killed them in a humane way, like hanging them.
No, I'm just saying, like in the Salem witch trials, they didn't
Uh.
like always burn them. Like
No.
that wasn't
That's
the
a
most
stereotype.
common way.
Sure, they
Yeah.
also crushed them with stones and hung them.
Yeah,
but
that was the more common way.
Yeah.
So
Or
I'm
drowned.
saying.
Or
at
drowned,
least
yeah,
they
or
were
drowned.
More accurate.
I mean, it goes to Disney's track record of having on-screen hangings by just showing the feet, like they do in At World's End.
Yeah.
it seems a lot more dark.
Yeah,
than
it is a lot
World's
more
End.
dark in At World's End because they hang a child.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some funny jokes, which is mostly just, I think I mentioned this off
Funny
camera, but
jokes?
it feels like a lot of the humor with the Sanderson sisters is like one of them is following the script and the other two are just riffing and ad-libbing,
Oh yeah.
which is what it feels like when they're making fun of her when she's trying to concentrate and Sarah's just dancing around, which she does a lot in this movie.
Okay, well, can we talk about just
She's
No.
she's able to
segue?
show up to set and have an excuse to not pay attention to what's going on.
Like, can we talk about this opening of the movie?
Mhm.
There is the shot where it's like going over the water, and then it goes over the forest, and then
Yeah.
it goes that.
And you
there's,
have the
like,
shadow of
this
the witch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is the witch shadow so big? Like either she is like
He's really
stupid
close
low
to
the
the
ground,
sun.
which
Like,
there's
yeah.
no way she is. Yeah, or stupid close to the sun.
Magic.
She's like
I don't
Icarus.
think this is a movie where
She's
we
like,
can justify
"Ooh."
everything with
Even
magic.
then the shadow should be like way bigger and
Could witches
like,
fly in
not
outer space?
visible.
Someone made a
like
someone
not how
someone made a
shadows
creative decision
no.
in 93 version of After Effects.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Make the shadow this big.
93 after.
I don't think there's like
Nah, Windows Movie Maker.
I was about to say there's no CG in this movie, but there absolutely is.
There's so
No,
much
that's no
CG.
When she does the
You
force
kidding me?
lightning.
Oh yeah, I guess that's CG.
Okay, the lightning, the black flame candle, when all the witches
That's
get
definitely-
destroyed.
Yeah. I think the cat.
Not to mention the
cat's-
green whites in the
cat
sky.
Seems just like
Okay, yeah.
superimposed mouth moving.
Yeah.
The cat doesn't.
You know what though? That actually doesn't bug me
I
because
haven't-
that
I
makes
didn't
sense during
notice
that
that a lot.
time because
Yeah.
like Sabrina the Teenage
Well, like-
Witch, they did that.
You've
Like,
got,
all the time.
You've got a movie that came out near this, which was Babe. I don't remember if Babe.
I never saw
But
it.
the original Babe, the animal mouth movements are incredibly good and they still hold up. I watched it last semester, and I think I talked about it on the Wildcast. Oh, it is just
So
a
you just
weird
don't go-
movie. Yeah, but the mouth movements are better than like Air Buddies today.
Well,
They
also,
just did a really
Big,
good job.
Big in
with
the
it.
City was directed by the same guy who directed Mad Max.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He did
Which is
Babe
my
Pig in
favorite film fact.
Danny
ever.
DeVito.
Someone,
No.
there's that trend going on Twitter of like name a legendary 4-movie run by a director. Someone was like, Babe Pig in the City, Happy Feet 2, Mad Max Fury Road, which is all the same director, and that's the arc he took to get to
good.
Mad Max. Good job, George Miller.
Yeah, you're amazing. You're a legend.
Anyway,
I thought Edgar Wright directed one of the Babe movies.
He might have done the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
And it's
he
so
did.
funny because he does Edgar Wright does that, and then he
Babe
does
one
the
was a
3
solid
like
movie.
End of the World trilogy with Simon Pegg, and I forget the other actor's name.
Oh, remember how?
And then he does Baby Driver.
I was gonna
What
bring
did he
this
do,
up.
Scott Pilgrim?
I'll tease this.
Oh, okay, sorry, I skipped over that.
Mhm.
I think he did Scott Pilgrim before he did the Simon Pegg trilogy.
We're getting off track.
When we first started this show, there was a streak of cults in movies, and we haven't had a cult for a while, but there's absolutely a cult in this one. We'll get there when we get there. We continue.
I don't remember a cult. But
I'll tell you. 300 years later, in Salem, a teacher tells her class about the Sanderson sisters. Since Halloween is approaching, Max Dennison, 90s name incarnate, a new student just arrived from California, isn't a believer. Max attempts to befriend fellow classmate Allison, befriend is a soft word, as the school closes for Halloween break. While cycling home, Max cuts through a cemetery and runs into 2 teenage punks named Ice and Jay, who tease him, later stealing his trainers.
I love that. They're like,
Yeah.
you got the new cross trainers.
Yeah,
Product
let me try
placement.
them on.
When an irritated Max returns home, unhappy about his new location, he finds solace in his room and daydreams about Alice.
Oh, that is the worst.
Danny, we'll get there. Danny, his little sister, then frightens him and demands that he take her trick-or-treating that night. At first he refuses, but is later forced to take his sister into the neighborhood to collect candy. After an embarrassing confrontation with Ice and Jay over surrendering their candy, Danny storms off on Max and he goes to reconcile with her. Next little arc. Everybody is insufferable. Allison is the least sufferable character.
I don't.
But-
She's. That's the.
Even then, some of her acting is just like, girlfriend, but not really.
Okay, so
Max Dennison immediately introduces himself as a extremely unlikable character of whatevering the teacher,
yeah.
and then
Why do I feel like Max
coming
Dennison is...
onto a girl with his number in class.
Oh my gosh, I hate that so
He-
much.
When he
Just-
steps up, he stands up in front of everybody into the pickup line. Is
Okay,
like,
you know what? I feel
Ah.
like he was a bully in California,
Oh,
and
he
he just
absolutely
and he
was a
just doesn't
bully.
like being on the bottom of the food chain.
that was him trying to like assert his dominance over everyone else.
Yeah,
like,
the
he was fun.
patriarchy.
It's like he's the girl of my dreams. It's like you just. I mean, did he? No, because he just moved in. It's like you
Yeah.
saw her today,
Yeah.
and he's already daydreaming is not the right word. IMDb,
Perverted,
Don't sugarcoat it. Fantasizing
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
her.
obsessing.
Yeah, and like
Oh,
he gets cut off mid sentence, and he's like, "Oh, I just want it," and then he gets cut off, and like, "I do not want to know where you were gonna go with that next, Max." And this is supposed to be the character we're rooting for, or are we? There's a question. Are we supposed to root for these idiots, or are we supposed to be rooting for the witches?
I mean, I kind of was rooting for that little girl just because.
Only the little
Am
girl.
What's her name?
I don't know.
In the very beginning?
This is not. This
No,
is,
just a little girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The little girl in the beginning was Emily. I don't remember the little
Emily
sister's
Dickinson.
name.
Oh.
his little sister.
Clearly, we were rooting for.
Clearly, we were paying attention because we know all of the characters' names.
I know. Danny.
Danny.
DeVito
Danny
Because
DeVito.
they shout. They shout.
That's
Danny
why it was
a
in
lot.
my head.
making a comeback.
Also, when
It was 93.
So first
he,
of
was,
all-
he was already back.
the scene in the school frustrates me because Max actually is the teacher
Yeah.
and is incorrect, and then Allison actually is his actually, but she's also not correct because All Hallows Eve isn't like she oversimplifies it. We're like it's a feast where the dead can return and like. Actually, not really. It's just a super Catholic tradition that precedes All Saints Day.
Yeah.
The
I
stuff.
didn't know.
Yeah,
Well, I bought it.
yeah.
I bought it.
I didn't. Well, I
Coming
bought it,
in
but I
Disney.
didn't
Yeah.
like it.
Which is my sister doesn't have a. Everyone has a patron saint for their birthday,
Mm.
and, but my sister doesn't because she was born on November 1st, so it's All Saints Day. So her patron saint is all of them.
Is that? Oh wait, no. Saints Day is November 1st.
November 1st, yeah.
Oh,
All
I was
Hallows
gonna
Eve
say I was
is-
born in November, but I guess
Yeah.
that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
The whole like the
That's
dead
okay.
coming back was a later thing.
Mm.
Really, it's like Christmas Eve.
Thanks, Allison. Don't know why Max is obsessing over you.
I hate that so much that he like sees this nerdy girl essentially that's just unmatched, and then he goes, "Yeah, here's my number."
And
Like,
then
why
I
would
do
you
like
wanna
how
get
she
with
just
that?
gives his
It's
number
because
back to
she's
him.
like just
Ah.
asserted
She's
her
not like other
dominance over him.
girls.
Yeah. She asserted her dominance over him. He tried, and
He
she's
likes
like,
that.
actually, reverse Uno card.
And then she reverses his reverse by giving his number back.
Also, why is a teacher teaching about the Sanderson sisters like it's actually real?
It seems like just
Yeah, like
That
What a
is he
terrible
was, like,
teacher.
Turn me into a believer. Like he's a non-believer. Like this is local folk. Like people in West
Folklore.
Virginia don't believe that Bigfoot exists.
yeah.
I think maybe they do.
No, it's Oregon.
Well, and West Virginia.
Oh,
Yeah, West Virginia's got Bigfoot.
or
and,
Oregon's got a whole
Flatwoods
thing about him.
Monster and Mothman. It's got a lot of stuff.
Got Mothman?
Yeah.
What do
I
we
thought
get?
that was a superhero.
Nope. We have
The-
we have the Bear Lake Monster.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we
So-
do.
It's not Utah.
No.
It's mainly Idaho.
Well, see that's as little as we can claim.
But
like,
you know,
We
what?
have
no, we got
One-
the judge. We got the one judge guy. What's his name?
That's not a cryptid. Oh, are you talking about like local legend and stuff?
Yeah, there's
Oh,
like a
yeah,
local
we've
legend
got,
of a judge.
We've got Brigham
Judge
City.
Dredd?
That's
No, not Judge Dredd.
Isn't Brigham City a
I
Western
am the
movie?
law.
Isn't Brigham City like a Wild West movie?
What?
No.
No.
What are you
It's
talking?
called Brigham City, and it's
Oh no, I think there was some ghost stories about the Brigham Young's house though, if I remember right.
oh yeah, that it's haunted.
Yeah.
I think I remember that. When
I
we worked
mean,
at- this is
With the
place, Barracks Park.
capacity that the Brigham Young house has, you have to think that eventually.
The basement has 2 vending machines in
How do you know that?
it because I worked there.
Oh, did you see any ghosties?
No, but like
Hear any
they did have
ghosties?
like the haunted tours of the park and stuff.
Dang it!
But I didn't see any ghosts.
I want to do it.
I didn't. I tried.
We should do it as a studio. Let's go
Um,
do haunted tours.
And it'd be like, oh, it's like a perfect reconstruction of Brigham Young's house. And then the basement is like tiled and like has,
You just
like,
hear down below, you're like,
break lounge and stuff. And it's got,
"Meep."
yeah, we don't talk about that. It's like backstage at Disney. Anyway,
Oh no.
Ice and Jay are hilarious.
Not really.
No.
I kind of thought the
Oh,
the-
Hollywood!
It's probably due to bad acting,
You got
but
new
I do
crust?
kind of like the
It's very
the
Bill and
only
Ted
bullies
vibes.
in the town suck at being bullies
Oh yeah.
kind of vibe that they give off.
You know what? They beat the bully at bullying though when they took the bully's cross trainers.
Yeah, they
so
took his cross trainer.
they took his cross trainer. I want to know how they forced his
the-
cross trainers off.
The
of him.
actor who plays Ice is a Utah actor,
Oh, that explains it.
Huh.
and like most Utah actors, has not progressed past acting in Utah-centric projects,
Mm.
which is unfortunate because I liked him in as Ice.
Did you really?
He's one of the better parts of the movie.
Like,
I think.
It was like Bill and Ted, but
the
bullies.
moment is so
Yeah.
awkward.
That was
He,
the
like,
vibes I was
You
when
getting.
he,
didn't
like,
want to root for him.
pulls
yeah.
him down.
Yeah.
It's like, how many times do I gotta tell you? My name ain't Ernie no more. It's
Yeah.
Ice. And then they get up and then they do it again. Like,
Yeah, this is
and
nice.
Max is standing there just like, okay, I'm gonna let them have their little aside.
I was like really hoping it was just gonna like turn into like a whole farce, but then it was just like a real bully moment, and I was like, you
If
kind of
he-
ruined it.
Honestly, I could see Max as the type of kid from California who'd be like, hey, you want some smokes? Yeah, bro. And he has like some with him.
Like he was someone who's just trying to be stereotypical California.
Yeah, he's I think you're right that he was the bully in
Yeah.
California because he's so used to people acting at him a certain way.
Yeah.
Of like how he was doing with those. He was like, maybe you should learn to breathe through your nose.
Mhm. And he's like,
Oh my gosh.
like when his sister like embarrasses him, he's like, "Get out of my life!" Shut
When,
up, angsty teenager.
Most of the shouting in the movie happens in this first act. And is it just me or does the audio peak like several times?
You-
Like whenever
You need to
Jay
get a better
laughs,
system, dude. No,
I didn't.
It sounded like the audio distorts a little bit, like when they get really loud.
I didn't hear that.
You
Like
need-
the microphone on set peaked, and so they had to
Right.
like smooth it over. That's what it sounded like to me.
Are you
I
watching
am
it on your Motorola?
No, I was watching it on my iPad.
I'm
Sorry.
going to blame Disney Plus.
Mm.
Oh, Disney Plus and its compression.
Yeah.
It did some stuff with the coloring that we'll get to later.
Oh.
That some colors got changed. So it's like what color is supposed to be yellow that ends up as purple in Disney Plus.
Interesting.
Anyway, they go trick or treating. Danny is obnoxious. The parents. I think the parents are underused because when they're in, they are funny.
Yeah.
But like
That's it.
the mother
Looks
like
he
wearing.
didn't have any shoes. Must be
I guess
some
we'll get
form
to
of
that.
protest.
Yeah, I love that line. Oh,
Oh,
it's so good.
And he like, the scene in his bedroom is infuriating.
Oh,
Yeah.
He like, he's like, oh,
It's-
I'm mad. I'm gonna just go onto my drum set, and then I'm
mean, he, like,
mad,
runs
and
up the
he runs up the stairs,
stairs.
just starts pouting, and is like, how big is this kid's room? How big is their house?
and not only that, like him like playing his drum set, like what a dumb plot point. Because he's like, oh, playing drums because I'm a drummer. All right, now we're gonna forget entirely about this new aspect of
yeah,
the
they
character.
never brought that up.
It's
They
just, like,
never brought it back, and I'm
to
like,
show
why'd
that he's
you
an
even?
angsty teens play drums.
No,
with
no,
him
no.
every-
All you had to do is like the little sister's like, can you cut the angsty teen vibes for a second and help me or
Yeah.
go? I'm like, you can't just like say that he's an angsty teen. Like,
Yeah.
He's got the like tie-dye peace sign banner behind him.
ugh.
Like that dates this movie. And we continue.
We
The two of them find the mansion of Allison's family, and they meet Allison and engage in a conversation about the Sanderson sisters.
Mm.
Planning to break into their home, now an abandoned museum dedicated to them, Danny is anxious about their Halloween prank, and when they break into the mill house, Max foolishly lights the black flame candle to impress the girls. Odd occurrences begin to happen at the Sanderson house, and the floorboards begin to rattle and shake, and the Sandersons return home. I'm actually going to cut it there. That's a good starting point, because this is where the cult comes in that I want to talk about.
Mhm.
Allison's family, with their like Victorian stuff and masks, being all weird in the background of a shot.
Oh my
And it's
gosh.
like, yeah, they do this every year with their friends. They're like, nah, they're absolutely doing a blood sacrifice in the basement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I
That
didn't even
it definitely
notice that.
was weird.
I was too focused on the whole Yabos garbage crap.
Oh my gosh. What do you call them? Yabos? He loves your Yabos. I'm like,
Yeah, and I was like,
First
I'm
of
done with
all,
this movie already.
first of all, Max, you nasty. Second of all, Danny. Whatever. Yeah, you should call him out for that.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
Also, why you tell your little sister that? I don't remember that part.
Yeah, I don't remember that part. Maybe she just pieced that together because he's like said Yabos before, which is like is that a 90s term?
No, maybe he said it when like he was in the bedroom. He's
Actually,
like,
I
oh,
looked
you're yabos.
Oh my god.
Oh, let me caress my own pillow.
You're so soft. Oh, it's
Oh.
gross.
Uh,
If they make a Halloween 2,
and there's like a
like he better
solid-
be in jail.
Oh, you mean a Hocus Pocus too?
Yeah. If
They
make
did
a
make a
Hocus
Halloween too.
Sorry.
And it was.
What did I say? Did I say Halloween 2?
Yeah, Halloween 2 was.
Halloween 2.
I don't remember
Sorry.
what happened in Halloween
Hocus
2.
Pocus 2. If they made a Hocus Pocus 2, he better be in jail.
They keep saying they're going to, but they never.
Put him in jail?
actually do. Put him in jail for just being a creep. And there's like a solid 3 seconds of just silence after she says that, and then Allison's like, "I love your witch costume."
Yeah.
Like, oh boy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So
And then
bad.
like she's like, "All right, I'm gonna go change. They won't miss me." And growing up with a sister, that was probably like a half an hour to get out of that dress and to put on new clothes, unless she's
Yeah.
like really fast. But yeah, her family's absolutely a cult, and they're doing like a blood sacrifice in the basement.
I
Maybe
love
that's
that.
why she's not worried about about Max. Maybe she's just like, oh, like I've met
Yeah,
worse.
that's normal.
There's like
She-
10 creepy uncles right there.
Yeah. And like she said, like, oh, they put me on candy duty, which she was doing a poor job of because she didn't answer the door to trick or treaters. They had
Yeah.
to like break into their house.
Even better, yeah. Like she doesn't
And then
even
she comes
respond to
down
that.
from like from the top of the stairs. She
Yeah.
wasn't paying attention to the door at all.
Oh man.
Whatever. He lights
Ugh.
the candle.
Oh, let's talk about when they first walk into that haunted house.
Yes.
He holds up the freaking candy thing like it's a freaking lantern.
Oh,
He does?
yeah.
And he's like holding up to stuff like, oh, I can't see anything. And I'm like, that's not even glowing. There's no light.
Oh, let me put
I
up
did
my
not
Milky
notice
Way
that.
next to this to compare it for color.
That's funny. I didn't notice that at all.
It's so stupid.
There's so many weird plot points in the movie that you're just like, why did you say that? Like,
Mhm.
how could you physically know that? Like, we'll get to it when we get to it. There's a line by Winnie later in the movie that you're just like, how would you know that?
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
we can say that now because he says like, well, it's just a bunch of hocus pocus. Then he lights it, and then she calls back to that line, but she was not there when it was said.
Oh, I'm saying a different line.
Oh, a different
Yeah.
line.
There's
When
a-
he's driving and she's flying next
Oh,
to him,
yeah,
and
and
she's
she
making
makes
all
it-
these puns about like, oh, you're resisting arrest. I'm like, how would you know about driver's permits, resisting arrest,
Exactly.
and all this stuff? Like, you're a witch
wouldn't.
from the late 1600s.
You thought the road was a black lake. Like the jokes, and those jokes aren't even funny.
Yeah.
And that scene doesn't really have any consequence because they just drive off anyway.
So honestly, like, they were very conditional in like actually using like the language of the time that they came out of, the 1600s.
Oh yeah.
And like the
They're
cultural
very
implications of them being out of the
Yeah.
the
1600s.
1600s. That's what I meant.
17th century.
Yeah, out of the 1690s. Like, they were very selective about it, and that kind of bugs me.
Also weird that it's 300 years exactly, but that was not mentioned in the prophecy. Because yeah, it's 1693, and then they get
I thought it was
Ah.
back in 1993. No, it was 93.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's exactly 300 years. They could have mentioned that.
They could have.
So
Yes.
Thackeray wouldn't have been guarding it every single night.
I wonder if that's why they did it. They're like,
Had
okay,
a
we need this
virgin
date,
light.
and we need an even amount of like years from this year. 1693. What happened then? Same witch trials. Great.
Yeah,
Let's
do
make
it.
a witch movie.
And this is where the virgin jokes start, and they are
Oh.
uncomfortable from the beginning. And it makes me wonder, like when he asks Allison to light it and she says no thanks, was that supposed to be a joke about her
That
not
she's
being a
not-
virgin? Because it came across, kind
Oh.
of came across that way in this viewing specifically.
Yeah.
I hope it's not because that's icky.
The
'Cause
whole thing,
they're
like,
like 16, and they're
in
making-
the prologue, Sarah, she's like,
oh yeah, let me play with them. Put them
Yeah.
on a meat hook and let
let
me
me
play with
Oh,
put
them.
him on a
yeah.
meat hook and let me play with him. And then
That's
like
the
later,
moment.
she's like making jokes towards Max, and I'm like,
Yeah,
Oh,
and she makes a joke.
keep
towards
it in your
Danny as
pants,
well.
Sarah.
I mean,
You know what, though?
It's okay when Sarah is flirting with a bus driver, but when she's doing it with kids,
Oh, the
It
bus
was
driver is
still
the
uncomfortable.
worst.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Ooh, mama, he says to a 60-year-old woman.
yeah, exactly. So
Reverse
we'll-
predatory
we'll
behavior.
go on. The three kids hide while the sisters comically settle back into domesticity after 3 centuries long absence. Danny soon shows her face, claiming that she was the one who lit the candle. To protect his sister, Max and Allison attack the witches. Max fools the witches by setting off the modern sprinkler system, making them think it's a terrible magic that will destroy them, in order to distract the witches from following him. He steals the spell book and is introduced to Thackeray, an immortal cat with the ability to speak. It's not a sentence I thought I was going to say in the show. After escaping the Sanderson sisters, Max, Allison, and Danny follow Thackeray Binks into a cemetery to be safe on hallowed ground. Binks shows them Billy Butcherson's grave and his sister's head sewn.
Exposition.
Yeah. They soon realize he is Thackeray Binks, and that the legends are true about the witches and they're killing his sister. Oh no.
Ah.
It's another one of those instances where the witches are funny but everyone else isn't. Like what they do in that scene is got some good slapstick, but
Which part?
when they're like fighting Danny and not Danny, no,
Billy?
Allison and stuff. Yeah, not Billy.
Not Billy.
Max.
So
and
we're not so
Allison.
When they're flying around on the brooms? and
No,
stuff?
when they're in the house.
Oh, the house.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought in the graveyard.
No, we're not.
Oh.
We're not
Oh,
at the
I thought we were
graveyard
at the
yet.
graveyard.
We're
Okay.
not- we're
Yeah,
not.
in the
I
house,
mean, we
yeah.
are at the graveyard, but I'm
Oh
going.
my gosh, let's talk about the freaking lightning. Like she
Oh,
like
the
shocking
force
him
lightning?
and
Oh, yeah.
stuff, and he's like, and then he like goes up the wall like,
It's like act like you're in pain.
Yeah.
Okay. Ah.
All right, that's a wrap.
That's a
God.
wrap. We don't
So-
have enough film to do enough takes for this.
We already have. We've gone through 3 reels.
Yeah.
And it's like trying to just getting his reaction shots because I'm sure Bette Midler is doing fine,
Yeah.
but the child actors though. Also,
Gosh.
what the kids, which is what I'm going to refer to the 3 because I don't like saying their names out loud over and over again. They have this weird paradox in this movie where they have moments of like some good competence in the horror movie, followed by just complete incompetence. Where at first she's like, I was the one that lit the candle, and then like doesn't follow through with that at all. It's like, girl, like you're dressed as a witch. They might think you're a witch. You could easily be like, yeah, I used your spell book and I did the potion and it worked, and now I'm a 7-year-old, but I'm as old as you. And they may have fallen for it.
Yeah.
But instead she just immediately starts screaming and doesn't follow through the plan, and then Max is like, I have magic powers, which then he never does again.
Yeah.
Like, you should have kept up the great and powerful Max shtick.
Yeah.
Because that may have helped, but it didn't.
It was kind of annoying.
You know what he should have gone? He should have gotten a firearm.
Yeah.
Like, just
Oh,
imagine
it
the witch
shows,
showing
like-
up at the cemetery. He's like, bang, bang, bang.
Like, when Allison gets the broom and starts smacking Mary, like, they are not competent in physically, the witches. Like, they've
No.
got magic and stuff, but, like, you smack them on the head with a skillet, they're unconscious.
Yeah.
Like, you can't kill them, but you can knock them out.
Ugh.
Kind of. Then like, oh, it's just
That's
water. And then there's the funny bit where they think that the road is a river, and they just throw Sarah into it.
Because they can't just, like, throw a branch or anything.
I don't know that part, but that part makes me chuckle.
Oh, like, later in the movie, oh my gosh. Allison, towards the end of the movie, she, like, whacks Sarah with a branch.
Yeah.
But it's not even a branch. It's like this thing long with like a little bit of leaves on it. And she goes, ugh. And she's like, ow! And like flies off the other direction. I'm like, that is the worst acting I've ever seen.
Yeah. The best acting that, I just realized, Sarah is played by Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah.
It's an instance where they named the character the same
Yes.
first name as the actor.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't remember their character's name.
Oof.
She probably just showed up on set and was like, "What's my character, Sarah?" All right.
Alright.
Sarah? Okay. It's like,
Sarah.
it's like, in this scene, you are not paying attention. Got it. It's like when he like explains the plan to them, and Mary's like, oh yes, I love the plan. I loved how you said this and this and this. What plan?
Yeah.
Like, one is an absolute suck up, and the other one just cannot pay attention to save her life.
Like they honestly could have just like not given her a script.
Yeah.
She should have just like.
I mean, when
What if they, who's
What
to
if
say they
didn't?
did?
Yeah,
What
that's what
if-
I'm saying. They could
like
have just.
like okay, what's my script for the day? And just like hands her like a bottle of booze. Like, this is your script.
I'm like, oh yeah.
Finish it before we're done.
Yeah, finish it before we're
A
done.
Disney
She's
movie
like,
set.
just like in like a pocket sewn into her dress. She just got a flask like in between takes. Just like, okay, I'm good to go. Like when she like starts like randomly climbing a gate in the background,
Oh
and
yeah.
Oh.
swinging from it in the cemetery. It's like, Sarah, what are you doing?
I'm drunk.
I mean, it works. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they can't go into the cemetery because it's hallowed ground, which is a thing. Oh right, that's why she turns to stone and.
How
starts
come
to
that's a
explode.
thing, but the water part isn't? Why is the water not part of the lore?
Oh, like
They're
where they
witches.
get damaged by water.
Yeah.
Oh right.
That's what I thought it was when they were hiding. I don't know what they were hiding from. I thought they were like, oh, they're gonna melt because of the water, but then they didn't, and I was like, then what was the whole
What was the-
sprinkler thing about?
Just roll
Is
credits.
that anything? Witches should burn in water.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
witches should burn
Is
in
that-
water.
That's why they drowned the witches in the Salem Witch?
I mean,
No,
it depends
because
on-
they
depends on- it
they said that
depends on-
only witches could swim. Normal women couldn't. So when
I
they
mean,
threw
I
you
guess-
in,
no,
either
that's
you
a-
swam and you were a witch, or
that
you drowned and you
is-
weren't.
That's just a trope from
That's
Oh.
some backwards logic.
Wizard of Oz. That's where that comes from.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
That's not like original witch lore.
Yeah.
The thing with the water test was whether they sink or float.
Oh, sorry,
yeah.
it was float.
Yeah.
But if you're swimming, they're like, oh, they're floating.
Because witches are made of wood.
They say in a German accent, and
Yeah.
then they kill you.
Or something. Yeah. That's what that is. So the water thing is just from Wizard of Oz.
Oh.
Which would kill that witch very easily.
Yeah, like
I don't want to talk about Wizard of Oz. That
You don't?
No, I don't.
No?
I don't want to talk about what she's
Not even the James Franco one?
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that one.
That was Disney. Oh my gosh, that one is the only 3D movie gonna be motion sickness because they didn't
Oh, yeah.
motion blur the pans, like the landscape pans.
Oh.
It's in 3D and they didn't motion blur it enough, so it's just like vroom, and you're like ah.
Nothing will
Immediate
beat.
vertigo.
Nothing will beat the dragon scene from The Hobbit.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
for
true.
motion
The-
sickness?
1,000 frames per second.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Nah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay.
When they had to change it for the home release because everyone was literally getting like puking in the theaters.
And they also changed the number of legs that he has for the home release. And in the first Hobbit movie, when it has the flashbacks, he's got 4 legs and then wings.
Oh.
But they changed the design when they were making Desolation of Smaug. So for the home release, they changed it so he only had 2 legs and then wings.
So they literally changed him from a dragon to a wyvern?
Yeah,
What?
which is dumb because they
Yeah.
are not the same.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Anyway,
We
continue.
digress.
The witches discover they have been tricked and devise a plan. The candle spell only brings them back for one night. They plot to suck out the lives of children before sunrise so that they can stay alive and youthful forever. They need to find Max since he has stolen the book. The witches set out into the modern world and are constantly confused as to the ways of the world in the early 90s. They track down Max and
Oh,
the gang to
the
the
modern
cemetery,
world.
unable to set foot on hollow ground, and taking flight on their broomsticks. Winnie resurrects Billy Butcherson, now a decaying zombie, to find the trio after losing them. The kids take rescue. That's not right.
Take
Refuge.
the rescue.
Refuge, exactly. IMDb, fact, just, I'm going to run at your stuff through Grammarly in the future. In a sewer,
Oof.
and make their way through the underground, while the witches who have had their broomsticks taken by children, trick-or-treaters board a bus. Binks finds a sewer hole that they can escape from, and Billy makes his way out to the streets, and is run over by the bus the sisters have boarded. Binks returns to normal health since he is immortal, and the witches depart the bus in Halloween-themed suburbia. Max, Allison, and Danny, and Binks, the kids, whatever, that's the group, go to City Hall crowded with people attending the Halloween party so they can find their parents. I know. Take a little break there.
Who's dressed as Madonna?
Dressed as Madonna. We'll get there.
Oh, man.
We already talked about a lot of this. We talked about the road. Now, let's talk about the bus. And the creepy bus driver.
Oh my gosh.
The
no.
joke when it's like, we desire children. Oh, that might take me a few tries.
Yeah,
I'm willing to put up, and it's like, Disney.
But at the same time, what a committed bus driver to want kids right off the bat.
I know.
You know, no creep would be
Well,
like,
he's
kids?
Not, I mean, he's not
sure.
gonna raise them.
Well, there's this
And-
cool thing
and
called
there's
child
the
support if
whole-
you
the whole
don't.
innuendos of Sarah riding on his lap at the bus,
Yeah.
which is funny when they run over the cat, but everything else that is said is not funny.
It's just so
It's just
wrong.
inappropriate. Yeah.
Every dirty joke they make in this movie is just bad.
I didn't get those jokes as a kid, but when I get them now, it's
They're so cringy.
Yeah.
if they are funny, I feel bad for finding them funny.
Yeah.
When I it's like, yeah.
And like people watch this every year and they're like,
I
wow,
still watch this
what a
every year.
good movie. I just got off the phone with my mom literally like 2 hours ago, trying to have her give me the Disney Plus account, and I talked about
Hocus Pocus.
yeah, I talked about Hocus Pocus, and she's like, that's such a good movie. I said, Mom, that is a garbage movie.
Would this cult count as a cult classic? Like
The cult is inside
no,
the movie?
no,
No, no, no, like-
meaning that it
Oh,
didn't do
oh.
good on release, but has since found a following.
Yes.
I
think it
say
does.
so. I think this is kind of a cult movie.
I see posts about it all the time.
Mhm.
And we're probably going to start seeing them probably in a couple weeks or so.
Yeah, and they're gonna be like, we're gonna make a sequel, but then they never do.
Yeah.
It's like Tron 3. I still don't believe it's actually happening.
But it is happening.
Well.
That'd be cool.
I've been burned before by it actually happening.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
It was like 2017 where Olivia Wilde was like, script's done, we're making it, and a bunch of other people were like, yeah, I'm back on board, we're making it, and then Disney's like, don't listen to them, we're not making it 2 months later, and I was like, well, but yeah, no, we've
I love how Disney's like, don't listen, don't.
we're
don't.
not doing it, and now Disney's like, yeah, Jared Leto is going to be in the new one.
No.
Jared Leto?
You will ruin Tron.
He will be
Jared.
appearing as Joker.
He better be he better be the villain and just play what he did in Blade Runner.
He better not show his face. They just
I'll be like,
mask him over like
be
they did
Mobius.
with Tron.
He'll be the body double for this version of a de-aged Jeff Bridges.
oof.
Or a de-aged Bruce Boxleitner.
I love me some Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges is
gosh,
great. I hope
yeah.
they get him back, even though he's dead. Doesn't matter. We're not talking about Tron.
He's not dead. I think he's
Jeff
still
Bridges is still alive.
Hashtag. No, I'm talking about Flynn.
alive. Oh, Flynn. Okay, yeah.
Billy Butcherson. This is something interesting I found in the credits. Is that Billy Butcherson and headless Billy Butcherson are credited to two different actors. So when his head is removed,
Oh, so the whole is someone else?
no, like when he gets his head knocked off and it's just the torso walking around, that's a different actor.
Why didn't they just? Never mind.
Also,
Oh.
why is it when
Maybe it's like I was thinking like maybe it was like a shorter
Oh,
actor wearing
yeah,
a
they
suit.
just put in a suit. That's
Yeah.
probably what it is.
why is it whenever he loses his headless body goes, but
But
his
it's
mouth
'cause-
does nothing.
Well, it's because his mouth is sewn shut.
What
Yeah, but even when his mouth is unsewn shut in the final scene, when he loses his head, his body walks up and is like,
I don't know.
That's true. You don't even have your voice box in here. It's gone here, so there's no way any sound should be coming out of the body.
yeah.
If there is, it's just the lungs
There should be
going
none.
weird, so it would be like.
Yeah.
That's
Weird,
so creepy. It should be that. It should be like,
Oh my gosh.
Just like weird,
Some
like
gross like
screaming. I don't know. Yeah, Google. What does a
What is a headless body sound?
what is
If a-
what
if
does
a headless
headless
body-
sound
if a headless body could talk.
Oh.
I think the
Through its
magic
neck.
that keeps him alive lets the head talk independent or something. I don't know.
That's what I assumed when I watched it. That the
Yeah.
head was just talking.
Also, he could see and walk around just like within reason. There's definitely clumsiness to it, but he would like walk forward
Honestly,
to go pick up his head.
the trope of the headless body trying to find the head it's dropped has never been funny to me. Whether it's in this or Pirates of the Caribbean or like whatever movie it is, where like
That's it,
I
that's the
lost
two
my
movies.
head. When Olaf does it, like
Oh.
it's never been funny.
I found it funny in Pirates of the Caribbean, but the first time I saw it, that was about it.
Yeah,
Oh.
but like it's done so much, like
Hmm.
skeletons and zombies, and, like trying to find their head. Oh boy, or like talking to the body like it's a different person than the head. Whatever.
It's all just so old.
The
But
magic-
however, like Hocus Pocus happened before Pirates
That's
of the
true.
Caribbean.
Hocus Pocus did it first. I'm sure some was done before that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, not first.
Okay. So they find their parents at. I feel like this movie. I'm gonna say before I go into the next thing, I feel like overall this movie set up unrealistic expectations for kid me of what Halloween should be like.
Oh yeah.
Because they're like going to parties and everybody's trick or treating and stuff. But actual Halloween is always
There's about 1 billion pumpkins
yeah.
in the neighborhood.
Like I'm
Oh,
an adult now.
Same.
Where's the swanky parties at
Yeah.
Halloween? No, they don't exist.
you know what? You should make one.
Maybe just
I'll
not.
come.
Maybe just not. in
He
Utah.
might not.
Maybe
see.
maybe if I go to Massachusetts, they've got lit Halloween parties with skeleton bands and stuff.
Maybe.
Maybe in Salem.
Maybe. We'll continue on. When the witches enter City Hall to find the children, Max's parents do not believe them, and he is forced to tell the party attendants on stage that the witches have come back to life. Everyone laughs until Max points out the Sandersons. The spotlight soon switches to Winnie and her sisters, and everyone stares. But Winifred quickly turns the tables on Max, dazzling the partygoers by pretending they are entertainers and breaking into a song and going on stage to do a dance number.
Okay.
I put a spell on you.
Parentheses, as only the divine Miss M can. I'm guessing that's Bette Midler. Okay.
Weird synopsis. Okay.
Yeah.
The
thanks,
song,
IMDb.
yeah, I don't like the editorialization of this. The song contains an insidious spell by which the witches compel the partygoers to all dance and party until they die of exhaustion, which is very dark in retrospect. Max and the gang flee the City Hall party and hide from the sisters behind a restaurant alley. Let's, we'll take a bit there if we want to
A restaurant named Alan.
talk about the party a little bit. The Madonna joke.
The Madonna.
Nobody's gonna get the Madonna joke anymore.
Oh yeah.
I don't get the Madonna
If you guys
joke.
know who Madonna is,
Well, like I just
put
understand
it in the
that.
comments.
Put in
Yeah.
the comments. I know who Madonna is, fellow
We all
kids.
know who Madonna is.
Yeah,
You know what? If like I don't know.
it was funny, I guess.
Ugh.
Dadkula.
That was stupid.
Sarah
Someone put a lot
splitting
more
off
effort
from a
into her
party
costume.
and flirting with the guy in a mummy costume. There's like there's like the Calamity Jane woman who's like firing blanks into the ceiling and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I remember
She's
that.
like the cowgirl.
I'm
Oh.
assuming she was Calamity Jane, although she used a rifle, not pistols. I think she also used pistols.
Yeah, I think she did. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't know. It's
I've seen the stage.
If
play
anything,
and the
this
movie.
this movie just dictates how people just take too much creative freedom during Halloween,
Yeah.
and it needs to stop.
Yeah, well, I mean, Halloween now is just like Comic-Con, but outside.
Yeah.
It's not like Halloween costumes anymore. It's just the Mandalorian and stuff. It's like, just go to Comic-Con with that stuff. If you're dressing up for Halloween, like,
Bring your 6-year-old to Comic Con.
I mean, granted, like, for my Halloween, I did that as a kid. Like, I was Buzz, I was Woody, I was Jack Sparrow for many years as a kid.
Mm.
Like, every year. Like,
I was always Harry Potter.
And I always like added on to the costume
Mistakes
each
for me.
year, and I got it better and better with like little stuff, and like made my own things, and like had like an actual bone dangling from the hair and stuff, like he
Oh,
has in the
nice.
movie. Yeah, it was cool. But yeah, the party's fun. The song is a fun moment.
Yeah.
The thought of everyone dying from exhaustion is pretty great. If this were the horror movie, I think like in the horror movie version of this, either they would die of exhaustion or it would be like fight each other or something, and everyone starts like
I
ripping
don't
each
know. I
other's
wish
eyes
they had
out.
like actually showed them dying while they were dancing. Cause it,
Yeah,
like,
they just show the aftermath of it.
Yeah, but they were just like dancing, and it looked like they were still having fun even after
Mhm.
they left the party. And I was like, "There's no consequence."
Like they should
to this
check in
song.
on the only reference.
Well,
to
it's
it
to
is
keep them
when-
busy, keep the parents busy.
But we don't know that because they're still
Well,
having the same fun they were before. The
It doesn't
party,
explicitly.
before the
You
thing
don't.
showed up.
And like even as a kid, I didn't really piece together that's what they were doing with the song until I had it explained to me. Because like there is that like end stinger of them coming out of the party.
Yeah.
But like it doesn't really say that. The only line about it is when Max is like, "Oh, they're still not home. Weird," and that's like it.
Yeah.
And so you can like piece together like, "Oh, it's been like 5 hours and they're still dancing."
Nice.
Anyway, we'll continue. They go to they go to a restaurant that has lobsters. An old oven gives Allison an idea on how to deal with the witches. Which is weird. It's a bit of a stretch. And they go to their high school. The witches enter the school since Mary has trailed the scent of the children, thinking it is a prison for children. Topical joke.
Which is stupid because
No.
1600s 100% had schools.
They did. The witches search the halls and follow a voice, actually a tape recorder,
not
and step
much,
into a
though.
pottery
I mean,
furnace.
yeah.
A pottery furnace. It's called
They
a
had school at
kiln,
people's houses.
first of all. Allison and Danny then close the hatch and turn on the furnace up to burn the witches. In celebration, Max and Danny head home with Allison, deciding to keep Binks as their own cat. They fall asleep.
Keep Binks as their. Okay, hold on. We skipped over that way
certain
too
that the
quick.
witches are gone forever. Well, I mean, I read through it and then we go back and discuss it in depth.
Oh, okay.
First thing, why the heck does the school have a walk-in kiln that
Okay,
you can
wait.
turn up to burn someone alive?
Well, my high school has a walk-in kiln.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's
They did?
they did. Well, no,
And you
mine was in
didn't have
junior high.
anyone like.
Oh, you know, I had one in junior high too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's typical because you
That's a typical thing.
Yep.
Mine didn't.
because
Actually,
if you have, like, a
I had
big,
an
like,
old junior high,
statue,
and then they
you
built a
wouldn't
new
need
junior
that.
high, and both
It
of them
just
had
makes me
walk-in
wonder
kilns.
how
And
nobody
then
has been burned alive in there before.
My art teacher
Or maybe
started.
someone has, and that's how she got the idea. It's like, yeah, I remember when Jimmy got locked in there and
The
accidentally.
last time I
Well,
burned someone alive.
my
in
art
there-
Oh
teacher-
yeah, she's a serial killer.
My art teacher started the new junior high on fire with the kiln.
Oh my god.
So it's not exactly responsible all the time.
And they fall for a tape recorder of a French translation tape,
Yeah.
which like the joke of like them coming out of the kiln and she's like reciting the French stuff. That is funny. But why the French? I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it worked.
I don't know.
They're like,
This is
oh,
definitely not like a.
we're gonna follow this voice. That it must be the French person.
They speak French.
He's
Well,
like, this
do they
doesn't-
know
this
French?
doesn't- This doesn't sound like any of the kids we've been following, but It doesn't sound like a kid either, but let's follow them because they're stupid.
But the witches wouldn't know what French is.
Maybe they would.
I mean, during
Yeah.
the times of less travel.
That's
1693,
true,
they're probably
unless
very
that colony
localized.
had French immigrants in it, which is
That's fair.
Very likely.
very likely. It depends. Usually,
I mean, it
if
was
it
an English
was-
colony in Salem,
yeah, it was an English
Massachusetts.
colony. If
French
there-
took down
Yeah, if
south.
there were French people,
Oh,
it
you're
would
right.
only be French people.
Yeah, French took Florida.
Yep, and
Enjoy Florida, French.
and that went spectacularly.
Yeah.
Yay, they still have it today. No.
They don't want it today,
No.
Nobody wants.
so they burn the witches alive.
That was very surprising.
That scene always scared me as a kid when
I was
they're
like,
watching
what?
them through the things. Like, Danny is 7 years old, and you've like propped her up so she can watch these 3 women burn alive.
All right.
Yeah.
Ha, 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 ha.
And like, if you've seen any other horror movie, or like Raiders of the Lost Ark, kind of, being burned alive is
Close
not
your
pretty.
eyes. That's what Indy
You're gonna
yells.
get it.
Keep your
Yeah,
eyes
in this
closed.
One, in this one, it's cover your ears, listen to them not.
Oh my god.
It's a good time. Let's continue. Winnie, Mary,
Go get it.
oh goodness, and Sarah soon emerge from the furnace and are restored to their normal form. Time is running out, and they are desperate since the children have the spell book and they can't remember the spell for the eternal youth potion. Along the way home, the witches run into Ice and Jay, who insult them, and the witches take the boys captive and place them in cages at home. Winnie breaks down, certain that they are doomed, and at the Dennison household, Allison and Max wake up, both feeling sympathy for Binks in his feline form. They open the spell book to see if they can reverse his spell, and the book, because why not? The book makes a signal that Max, Allison, and Danny cannot see. The Sanderson sisters see the signal from across town and go into the cleaning closet to find new brooms. I'm going to stop there for a bit because there's some stuff I want to go over.
Yeah,
Oh my
this will
gosh.
be the last segment for me.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a heart out, so he's going to leave.
Oh.
So,
I'm Max.
Max,
No.
Max and Allison fall asleep.
On each other.
On each other.
Whoa!
Yeah. Which
They
feels, it
slept
feels inappro-
together.
They are children. They are teenagers, and the movie gets dangerously close to making a joke with that. But then like they almost kiss later, so it's like, oh no, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Sure. We'll see about. I mean, maybe nothing happened, but we know Max.
Also, why are they like falling asleep? Like
Like, why did they decide to go to bed?
Why-
Like, because they were tired, I guess.
why? Why are you tired? Like,
Because it was nighttime.
Yeah. Why
Yeah,
did she just go
but,
home
like-
and
Why
bed?
didn't she go home?
Yeah.
Because she didn't feel safe and needed Max's big strong arms.
Max, I used to stop.
I'll be here to keep you safe. Understand?
Oh.
And they're like in this same room as Danny, and Danny gets to bed, and they like sleep on this weird little alcove.
Yeah.
It's weird. Also, Allison, why did she come around to the idea of Max so quickly in this movie when he
Yeah.
was nothing but creepy to her pretty much the whole time? It's like, you know what? You're right. I mean, oh my gosh. We forgot to talk about the police officer. That was the thing.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. And they brought up the virgin crap again.
Yeah, when he's
Oh.
like,
You're a
"Are
virgin?"
You're a
It's like,
virgin? He's like, yeah.
well.
And he
no
looks
dipshit.
at Allison, and then back to him. He's like, really? He's like, dude, don't.
The cop-
That
They should've
scene
got the cop-
alone
cop should've
made
died.
my city. I grew up in Bountiful. My city freaking make it illegal to dress up as a police officer for Halloween.
No
If you're
way.
impersonating a police officer, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that movie inspired a lot of people to like do that and
Well,
try
also,
and
he
pull
was
things.
on a police bike.
No, he was just on a motorcycle.
It looked like a police bike. It
And
had, like,
his-
the front
Also,
thing
and if he had a picture, like his patch had like a flying witch on it
Oh,
and
it
stuff.
did?
Yeah, it was like Salem Police, and it's got a witch on a broom. Like, obviously he's not a real cop.
I would like to think that
Also, what are
that's
the police
Disney
gonna
being
do?
like, this is an
Shoot the
accurate
witches?
depiction of a Salem cop to convince you that this is a cop.
Uh-huh.
Gosh.
I'd like to
So
think
dumb.
that.
So they blow up the house.
Party.
Oh, I haven't gotten there yet.
Oh yeah.
They
blow the
we have
house,
the we have the
spoiler
joke
alert.
of Winnie riding on a sweeping broom, Sarah
Oh.
riding on a mop, and then Winnie riding on an electric
I
vacuum.
mean,
Yeah.
Mary White.
Mary.
Yes.
Did I say
Winnie.
Mary, I mean.
Oh,
Don't worry
I
about
didn't even catch that.
I'm
no
sorry.
one is paying attention to the
No one's
name.
paying
That's like-
attention to the plot. It's funny, haha. She's going to the thing. They capture Ice and Jay, which is pretty entertaining. When they're like, we'll get there. Winnie soon takes flight on a house broom along with Mary on a vacuum and Sarah on a mop. There we go. And they head to the suburbs to retrieve the book. Max and Allison are stopped by Binks, who slams the book shut, because cats can do that. Allison has an eerie feeling that something isn't right. Okay. Acting on her uncertainty, she and Max fetch some salt from the kitchen as a defense mechanism if the witches do return. I'm going to stop right there.
Isn't it
Yeah.
goblins that you have salt for?
And witches, and devils and stuff. Basically,
Oh.
it's a get off.
I mean, can't you just fly over the?
There's some weird stuff with
Salt.
Allison in this movie where
Yeah, I know.
where Allison has this like premonition that they need salt, which turns out they do. And then when she has it, Winifred refers to her as a clever witch. Does Allison have magic powers and they just never
Allison is a witch.
I think Allison is a witch and they just didn't like follow that thread in this movie.
That's Halloween, or I did it again. That's Hocus
That's
Pocus
Hocus
2.
Pocus 2. Allison's a
Hocus
witch.
Pocus 2.
That's
Oh.
stupid.
Except the actress is probably like
Max
would
has
never
to
come
kill
back to me.
Allison in
Or
front of
Allison
Danny.
accidentally, because like the book is still there at the end. Also, like compliments
Yeah.
to the book. The book is a great prop, and the eye looks
Oh,
really
yeah.
good. I think sometimes it is like a close up of like an actual person's eye,
I
and
think
sometimes
that's
it's
what it
just
is.
like a puppet eye moving, which looks good. Looks good. Anyway, Max and Alice's impromptu moment of romance is interrupted by odd noises from upstairs, and they go to see what happened. Allison sees the book is gone, and Max pulls back the cover of Danny's bed to reveal Sarah. This is a weird jump scare. Mary and
Yeah.
Winifred enter from the closet holding Danny hostage and holding the book. To defend herself, Allison pours a ring of salt around her instead of tossing salt
The
on them.
Stupidest.
Yeah, she's like,
manner of
flies it
action.
around.
Yeah.
Mary and Winifred, and
Thanks,
the trio of
Allison.
witches take to the skies with to Danny to use her as the first sacrifice. Max and Allison and Binks are off to get Danny back. Sarah sings a gentle spell from the skies to summon all of the children of Salem to the Sanderson house, which makes me wonder why she didn't do that from the beginning. As additional sources of youth, Sarah returns home and Winnie is fixing up the potion in their cauldron while Danny is tied to a chair. Max enters the Sanderson house in time to save Danny from consuming the potion, knocks over the cauldron, and tells the witches the sun is rising. The sisters fall to the floor but are tricked as a ray of light turns out to be the headlights of a vehicle as the rescuers took to get there.
Okay.
Rescuers down under.
Before we get to the end here,
We're getting
I gotta
close.
say, I really hate the way Sarah rides that broom.
Is she
I
riding
just-
side saddle?
No, it's just the way that she's riding it.
Oh, where
It
she's like,
just looks
she's
so wrong.
Oh.
I just hate it.
mm.
She doesn't ride it like a normal witch.
This is a kid's movie,
She just-
and Sarah doesn't seem to know that.
I don't feel like anyone knows
I
that
don't
in the
feel like
movie.
anyone in this movie knows that it's a kid's movie, except for maybe Danny.
Yeah.
There's a couple times where I thought Danny was like getting close to swearing, but like stopped herself mid sentence.
Would've been great.
Good.
Oh man.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, I'll chalk that up to Sarah Jessica Parker being herself.
Probably.
Yeah.
Um,
Oof.
oof.
With that,
And
I leave.
Alright.
I
I
leave.
do leave.
I leave.
Oh my gosh! And when Max is like, oh, she's like, it wards against bye. It wards against witches and goblins and ex and former boyfriends. And she's like, what about future boyfriends?
Oh my gosh, that's so terrible. Oh.
It's like, Max, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Stop. What? I don't care. Oh no, it's fine. Oh yeah, if his notification pops up again. If it is, I'll fix it. And I completely lost my train of thought.
The salt thing.
The salt thing is always bugged me.
Yeah.
Throwing it up in the air, like either just like pour it out,
Yeah.
or like take off the lid and go ha.
Well, I think it's like the whole like.
Does it have to be a connecting? I think it has to be a connecting circle
It
because
has
there's
to be like a barrier. I think is
Yeah.
what it's supposed to be.
because like
rather
there's
than-
some movies where like someone accidentally like scrapes across it with their foot and it like breaks the circle.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
You
that's
can't
what
just
that's supposed
chuck it at them.
Although like, I don't know. It felt like it was more like a physical thing. Like she has lightning and she never used it.
No, she uses it once. It makes me like maybe like I for a bit I thought like it's like D&D rules where the wizard has to have their spell book. But she did plenty of stuff without it when she like mind controls like 300 adults at the same time.
Yeah.
She didn't have her book for that. And that's not like basic magic. The sisters. Oh my god, this is one of the color things I noticed. When the headlights of the car come on,
Okay.
it's a purple light, right? When you saw it in Disney Plus,
Yes.
it was purple. When I watched that on VHS and DVD, it's yellow,
Huh.
and it looks like the sun because it's car headlights.
Right.
But
Yeah.
on Disney Plus, it looks purple.
That's weird.
Yeah, they did some like compression or color correction
Yeah.
that made it purple because it does not look like the sun. And I mean, I might be Mandela affecting myself, thinking that it was yellow as a kid, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't because that caught me real off guard watching it this time. Yeah, that's about all of it there.
Yep.
The sisters have the opportunity to suck out the lives of children that are approaching their house, but Winnie is determined to have Danny's soul first because she called her ugly. There is just enough of the potion left for one child, so the witches take off after the kids. After losing the witches, Max, Allison, and Danny and Binks return to the cemetery where the witches can't set foot on hollow ground. Danny is protected by a ring of salt as Billy the zombie joins them to defend her since he also has a hatred for Winnie, which makes me wonder why he didn't do that. The sisters swoop at them from all angles. Winnie knocks Billy's head off, and Danny carelessly leaves the safety of the salt ring to retrieve it and give it back to him. When he captures Danny, he's about to force her to drink the potion when Binks rushes up a tree. And I keep getting texts during this. Rushes and like Mac is like, "Here's this." He rushes up a tree and knocks the thing out of her hand. Max catches the potion and threatens to smash it unless Winnie releases his sister, but Winnie threatens instead to kill Danny if Max does this. The standoff is resolved when Max suddenly drinks the potion, forcing Winnie to take him instead, even though she could have killed Danny anyway. Winifred frees Danny, claiming that Max is a fool to give up his life for Danny. Winnie then attempts to suck at the life of Max, but Allison, Billy, and Danny prevent Mary from helping Winnie by holding onto her flying vacuum cord.
Which is stupid.
My soul didn't let me get through that. Now, Sarah tries to help Mary, and a tug-of-war ensues, ending when Allison, Danny, and Billy release the cord, causing Mary and Sarah to fly off hopelessly into the sky. Winnie is knocked off her broom while struggling with Max and lands on the cemetery's hallowed ground. Taking hold of him and sucking his life force, the sun begins to rise from the horizon of the cemetery. Winnie is stuck between the sun and the hallowed ground, slowly turning to stone. The other two sisters disintegrate from the sunrise, and Binks takes his final breath, the curse on him broken. Danny and Max are reunited, and she is touched that he would give up his own life for her. Danny then realizes that Binks is dead and begins to weep over him. I'm going to stop there because that's like the climax.
Yeah.
Because a lot happens. The stupid moment when Winifred is like, "No, I want Danny first."
Yeah.
Bugged me so much this time. I didn't really realize that before now. When you easily could have like, let's take like all of these kids, suck out their life forces because we have the book, then just go kill Danny.
Yeah. Like why are you so dumb?
I mean, the witches are stupid. That's kind of their shtick.
I know, but you'd think
Is
that
there
they're
like three? It's like very Three Stooges
they're like-
with them.
super impatient the whole movie.
Yeah.
So you think they'd be like, just okay, we have children, let's do it.
Let's just like pop one out, get us like immortal, then go kill Danny. And then she like softly lets Danny down when Max drinks the potion.
Yeah.
And when like if this were the horror movie, he would have done that. It's like, "Ha, now you have to take me," and she would just be like, "Snap. Okay, now I'll kill you too." Like you wanted to kill Danny because she called you ugly, and like the scene that scene is kind of funny. When she's like, "She called me," like, don't even say it. Okay, ugly, and then she starts crying.
Yeah.
Although it does kind of seem like Bette Midler is trying not to start laughing and break character when she's like, "There's really my feelings." But I mean, that does crack me up. I did not cough because I have Rona. I coughed because I haven't drinking any water except from Monster today.
It's not water.
No, Monster's not water. That's I haven't drunken any. Nope, it's empty. Never mind.
Well,
Because I'm gonna be doing that. Thor throat.
yay.
And yeah, the antics with the brooms when he's like trying to hit her with a baseball bat and she's like 20 feet up in the air. It's like,
Oh my heck.
which I mean, really, I think she's supposed to be closer than that, but because they can't have both of them in the same shot because she's flying,
Oh yeah.
they have to like keep cutting back and forth between the two. And they do that again when she picks him up. It goes like the back of assumedly a stunt worker, and then her holding up some just like a mannequin or something by the camera. And then yeah, she turns to stone because she lands on the cemetery. The statue looks real weird when it transitions.
Yeah.
It like flattens out, but then
Uh-huh.
it goes to the other shot and it looks somewhat normal.
I don't know. Maybe that was like an effect that
Yeah.
it had to do instead of like just like dissolving to an actual statue they had made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the actual statue they make looks different than the one she turns into in that one long shot.
Yeah.
And the other two explode when she explodes.
Boom.
And they explode. They explode in their colors. Sarah explodes in purple. Mary in red, and Winnie in green. Also, I didn't realize that the three kids that steal their brooms are dressed up as them.
Oh.
Yeah, they're dressed up as them. So like, one's got like the red hair and like the lipstick, and then the red, and then the blonde wig and stuff. So I was like, oh, that's funny. Also, there was a bit where I was like, why did these kids just walk up and then just steal the brooms?
Yeah.
But then I remembered I was a kid that grew up in Bountiful, and kids would steal stuff all the time if it was left out.
Oh really?
Yeah, like when I was a kid, I was like I'm gonna go outside and play, and like someone left their like ripboard or whatever, like that one skateboard that's got the only two wheels and like wobbles back and forth.
Yeah.
One of those, a wave rider, yeah. Yeah, and some kid just left their wave rider out and was like, okay, and I just like rode around the neighborhood with it and then just left it in the cul-de-sac. Like kids do that stuff all the time, and that's sort of vibe I got. Like, oh, these are cool, and then they fly off and no one really. This
Yeah, they're
totally
probably
skipped.
dead.
This totally skipped the Satan scene, which is probably the best one in the movie, when they think that this random dude is actually Satan and he goes along with it.
Yeah.
And his wife is played by, I don't remember. She's Laverne and Shirley,
Okay.
and she's a really funny actress. Underused in this movie. I think she should have been one of the witches because she's funny. And like, they think that she's Medusa, and like the whole thing when she goes into the kitchen, it's like torture chamber.
Oh my gosh.
I thought that was funny, and like that, like Mary getting wigged out by the TV and Sarah dancing with Satan. It's a weird just aside to the plot.
It really is.
And like I think the dog is served, and it just serves nothing. It's just filler that's kind of funny. And I wish the movie was like 80% of that of just them doing weird stuff and getting into situations that were funny.
I don't know.
Too much of it is Danny, and
It's true. That might have made it better.
that might have made it
I don't
better.
know.
Who knows? I think the mistake that they absolutely would make with Hocus Pocus 2 is having too much of the sisters.
Yeah.
And like, maybe, I don't know.
Or just too much Danny again.
Too much Danny
Like,
again.
even
I mean,
more
Danny's
Danny.
all grown up. Danny's got to be in her like 30s or 40s now.
Yeah.
This was 93 and she's 7. She's older. I'm not doing the math in my head. 93, yeah, she's in her 40s. 40s or 30s. I don't know. Let's see. Binks dies. And it's like, oh no, but he comes back. Oh, I think he's actually dead this time. Whatever. Suddenly, Thackeray's spirit appears to console her, showing her that the curse is lifted and he is free, and he's still wearing the same clothes and the dumb no shoes and the weird loose shirt.
Yeah.
He thanks her, Max, and Allison for the heroic fight against the Sanderson sisters. Emily's spirit appears in Thackeray. Let me say that again. Thackeray is finally reunited with his sister, the Sanderson sister. The film ends with Max, Danny, and Allison victorious after the defeat of the Sanderson sisters, and Danny smiling as Thackeray and Emily walk away through the cemetery gates, which are supposed to be like the gates of heaven, or wait, should
Gates
they?
of Hell, maybe?
Yeah, it turns out they both go to hell. Because they get to the other side and like it's like some Puritan guys are like, nah, you two were not Puritan enough. You're going to hell. This is Puritan rules. You like
You got seduced by a witch.
you dissed your dad one time. Bad. Gosh. After the end credits, Max and Danny's parents exit City Hall. This is not after. This is during the mid-credits. IMDb. With other partygoers exhausted from hours of dancing. Then cuts to Ice and Jay still hanging from the cages at the Sanderson home, singing "Row, row, row your boat." As the credits approach, the spellbook opens its eye for a sequel. Maybe that's like typical horror movie things. You always gotta have a stinger at the end, just in case you want to do another one, which they didn't. Max leaving Ice and Jay there is one of the funnier parts of the movie for me.
Really?
Yeah, when they're just like, hey, like, let us out, man. And he, like, takes the shoes back and goes tubular and then just leaves them to die. And, like, they could have died. Like, they were like, Sarah's like, we have a child. And both of them, they're like, oh, no, him. Like, they could have just killed those two.
Yeah.
And Max is fine. He stole his shoes. Like, maybe, actually, like, I don't know how they were locked in there. Maybe there's nothing you really could do.
Yeah, maybe it was like one of those old-fashioned lock
And like, there's a part where Sarah is like legit just like poking Jay with a pitchfork at one point. And like there's something that, like, yeah, like in the horror movie version of this, those two would totally have beefed it.
Yeah.
They totally would have been killed by the witches. And maybe Max would have died, hopefully. And yeah, the row 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 your boat moment is kind of funny.
I don't know. I
It's
was
kind of funny.
so done with that movie by then.
I don't blame you. Now we'll go into final thoughts moment of the movie. Since he's not here, Logan's moment of the movie was the cop asking if he was a virgin.
Yes.
I'm confident that that's what he would say. My moment of the movie is Satan. Just that whole sequence, I think, just brings me joy. There's so many quotable jokes in that part.
Yeah.
And your moment?
My moment is when he just, like, runs upstairs without his shoes, and parents are like, "Oh, he's got no shoes on. Must be a protest."
Some form of protest. I hate it here. That's also something like that. I don't know if that's an actual kid thing. I don't know if I was like that as when I was his age, of like them being like, "How was school? It sucked." Like,
it definitely like took me back to like the whole like Karate Kid
like just like
thing. Or,
like tell them what happened. Like, I mean, school. The only reason school sucked was because you decided to make an ass of yourself.
Yeah.
Sorry, you two. It's fine. And but like he should have been like, I got mugged in a cemetery. I'm not doing good. Like, just tell your parents what's going on. My goodness. Yeah, I think like I did that as a kid. I didn't tell my parents all that was going on at school. Like if I was having a bad time,
Yeah.
like with bullies and stuff. I'm not going to get serious about it, but there's some serious stuff that had to be taken care of by my dad and the principal. But he didn't know about it until like he overheard me talking to my sister about it.
Oh.
And I just didn't think it was a big deal. And he's like, no, like those kids need to have something done about them. I'm like, oh, whatever. Yeah, that's the whole thing. But no, that is a really funny joke. It's some form of protest. Like playing the drums and sitting on your weird little alcove. The geography of their house makes no sense.
Yeah.
Backup moment of the movie actually might be the cult in the background doing a blood sacrifice in the basement.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're absolutely doing some. It's like that's the reason they're rich is because they do a blood sacrifice and like they get riches in return because they've done a deal with the devil. Explore that in the sequel, where like Allison has to like become a good witch.
Is that why she's a witch? Yeah.
That's why she is magic. Oh, totally, and that's why she already believes in the Sanderson sisters and the magic and stuff is because she like freaking uses blood magic and stuff with her parents. That's dark.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's rank the movie.
All right.
So, I don't know. This is gonna be interesting. I know I'm probably gonna skew high. I'm thinking maybe 7,
No. No way.
6.
No.
If you think this is worse than Hatching Pete,
Yes.
really?
I want to put it below Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire.
No, and I am definitely not letting that happen. Okay, so if we take you, so you want to put it at number 18.
Yeah.
Okay. Since there's only 2 of us, we are going to go with an average. I wanted to put it at number 7. So, what is it?
Put it
You said
below Lizzie
18.
McGuire. What about that?
7, 14. So it would probably go at like really worse than Lizzie McGuire. I find that hard to believe. I think this is a number 10. Maybe number 9, better than Incredible Hulk.
All right, it was better than Incredible Hulk.
Okay, but not as good. Yeah, I'd say Noelle is a more fun watch than this
Yeah.
because this is again, it's a nostalgic movie, and it's not going to be funny for everybody, and even for those that it was funny as a kid, some stuff doesn't age well. But overall, I'd rather watch Hocus Pocus than watch Incredible Hulk. The only reason I mean I haven't watched an episode of Incredible Hulk for a while. I got a few down, but it's literally the same plot every episode, and it's not fun. Next up, we've got some film information and statistics. This was written by David Kirshner, Mick Garris, and Neil Cuthbert, directed by Kenny Ortega, released July 16th, 1993. This was released in July, and it's a Halloween movie.
Oh my heck.
Maybe it didn't do so well. Runtime, an hour and 36 minutes. IMDb score, 6.9 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes score, 37% critics, but 71% audience. That checks out.
Yeah.
This movie passes the Bechdel test, mostly because of the sisters and because of Danny and Allison. I think that's it. But mostly, like, the sisters are just, like, riffing off of each other constantly. What it says on the website was this movie has 3 sisters who talk to each other about any number of things, including spellcasting, eating children, and yes men.
Oh my gosh.
They do talk about eating children. Sucking the lives out of children, not to be confused with eating. Now it's time to spin the wheel. This wheel was submitted by email. I forgot to update it. Goodness, National Geographic.
Oh.
Okay, this was submitted by Rocky Lemons and is the National Geographic wheel. Yeah, you ready for that?
No, I'm never ready for National Geographic.
There's some varied stuff
We'll see.
in here. If you would do the honors,
Sure.
Cameron, because I'm over here.
Oh,
Spinning
I
the
really
National
wish I
Geographic
walked from
wheel. Ba-ba-ba-ba. There might be some doubles on this.
Yeet.
Interesting. The rolled item is Egypt's Treasure Guardians.
Ooh, wait. Like the cat mummies?
Maybe. I think this is actually talking about Egyptian archaeologists
Wait.
who do
But they're not guardians, though.
well. They do archaeology. Here, let me see. It's home to the most famous archaeologist treasure in Egypt. Over the last 5 years, Egypt has suffered a tumultuous revolution and tourist numbers have plummeted. This program follows a select cast of individuals determined to bring Egypt back from the brink to discover more of Egypt's history. Okay, so basically it's archaeologists that are trying to reinvigorate interest in Egypt.
Okay.
That sounds fun. 44 minutes, released in 2016.
Ooh, nice.
That's
Good and short.
good and short, the way we like them. And okay, time to select the next wheel.
Yes.
I got this for you. We're not close enough to holiday movies. What might be
Oh,
fun?
did someone just do a general wheel?
Oh, which one?
Disney? Is that what that
Yeah,
said?
Disney is just everything.
Oh boy. It's gonna be rough.
and nearly impossible for me to make.
Let's do.
Another National Geographic.
What if we do Cars collection?
The
What is
Cars
that?
collection.
Is that just
Cars or like a bunch of stuff about cars?
It's Cars, like Cars 1, 2, and 3, and all of the Cars tunes with like the Mater,
Oh,
the
boy.
Mater stuff. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Let's do that. We're gonna do the Cars collection, submitted by D1C3. Thank you, D1C3. It's like a droid. I like it. We'll be spinning that wheel next time, and we'll be watching Egypt's Treasure Guardians. Thank you all so much for listening. If you like the show, please review us on iTunes or whatever podcast service you use to listen to, and share it with your friends. You can send your reviews or comments to WhereStreamsComeTrue@gmail.com. That's the best way to get a hold of us. Also, there's Twitter at Studio 76 WSCT. That's it. And you can submit wheels. Haven't had a wheel submission in a while, but I don't think we're close to running out. We've got like for the rest of the year at least. And you can submit your reviews. You can submit a recording to anchor.fm/WhereStreamsComeTrue. You can watch us if you are a more visual consumer of podcasts. We are at youtube.com/Studio 76. I don't think that there is a /Studio 76. Or there might be. I haven't tried that.
I don't know. It's probably / and then like a whole bunch of weird characters.
Yeah.
If you want the exact.
Yeah, I don't know if like you have to be like a big channel to just get a / your name, or you have to be the only person who has Studio 76, because I think there is like one other channel that
There
has.
is. I don't know what they are though. They only made 2 videos and then they quit.
Yeah, we made more than that, and we haven't quit yet. And that is all for today's episode. Thank you to my guests, even the one who had to leave.
Yeah, thanks, Logan.
Thanks, Logan. That's our call out of the week. Bringing that back. We haven't done a call out of the week for a while.
Yeah.
We had a cult of the week and a call out of the week. Maybe I should make those like actual segments in this. Is like, what's the cult of the week? Try to find a cult in every movie. Anyway, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.
No.